On this edition of Assembly Required, daring design meets prefab functionality. We'll see how architects are adopting the assembly line to bring modern to the masses. From a party pad to a family home, modern design is taking the prefab home building world by storm. It's day one on Paul Livernice's home build in Kerhonkson, New York. There won't be a day 2 or 3 or 12, just today.
Pretty wild. House in a day.
Right now, all that's here is a concrete crawl space foundation and some concrete pilings. By dinner time, there will be 1,800 square feet of weathered-in house. Fast builds are not all that unusual in the modular home building world. This won't be a trailer home or a quaint colonial. By sunset, Paul will have a contemporary, custom, architect-designed home. It's called a Resolution 4 modern modular house.
You know, it's like a big boy treehouse. It's like a big loft space in the air.
Before it can go up in the air, it needs to get up the unpaved road leading to this Catskills mountain retreat. The beautiful woods that drew Paul to this piece of land are just the thing getting in the way.
How close is it to the end of the tree?
We're gonna have to try to back it out.
Sites like this is tough because you can't actually stage the boxes on site, and you have the time issues from, bringing the box in from somewhere else, so there's a lot of downtime. And of course you see all the snow. That's not enjoyable. You might end up getting stuck, just makes everything all the more worse.
Adam Barkett and his crew waste no time while the mods creep up the road.
Basically what we're doing here is we're just separating all the panelized pieces. There's a panelized section that goes on the front of the house. We're trying to just get everything separated so we can, the pieces we need first are always on the bottom.
With module A clear, the next module plunges forward and it's twice as big.
Well, once I get past that one and get it up, just don't let me hit the window.
Yep.
All right, and once I get it up, then I can try to wiggle the back around. I can't let this thing go, you know what I mean?
I wouldn't back up right now.
With only a short winter day to finish the job, there's no time to celebrate. It's time to get moving.
The most important part of the day today is getting the first box in the right place on the block, because that's pretty much the foundation for the rest of the house. If you don't have that in the right place, things could go wrong real quick.
Pretty wild. Like almost, you're talking, all of a sudden it's your house up in the sky.
As a crane lifts the first module into the air, the architects from Resolution 4 witness the fusion of a traditional modular home structure with their contemporary design and customizations. The crane sets the mods safely on the foundation. The set looks simple, but it's not over yet. Module B is twice as long as the first one, so hoisting it in the air is quite a balancing act.
Basically what we're doing, because of the length of this box here, we had to distribute the weight. So we drilled 4 holes to be connecting to a cable on the other side with a becket.
Once again, Paul's house is airborne. Only this piece will sit partially on Mod A and then cantilever out 14 feet off the ground on poured concrete pilings. This cool contemporary look is just one example of how the Resolution 4 architects in New York City are turning manufactured housing on its head.
Only 5% of the homes in America are designed by architects, and we believe we're reintroducing the architect into the domestic space of America. A modern prefab home has been the holy grail of modern architecture for a number of years.
Joe Tanny and Rob Luntz at RES4 draw on classic influences like Frank Lloyd Wright's clear-story windows and Eichler's clean lines and glass spans. RES4 married thoroughbred architectural concepts to the functionality of a factory. They call it mass customization.
Basically, what happens is someone comes in and says, I love it, this is exactly what I want, but can you change this, this, and this?
And we say, yeah, that's exactly what we're here for. That's exactly what the methodology we set up.
And that's why the architect needs to be part of the process on an ongoing basis.
To design the house, to make it architecture.
You know, it's like almost 2 years in the waiting. You know, going through the designs and the construction and changing things around to make sure everything worked. And so it's nice to see it happen.
That's what modern prefab is all about. It was back then that Paul Livernice decided to see if he could turn his vision of a Catskills mountain retreat into reality. He hopped on the local subway and paid a visit to his New York City neighbors. Resolution 4 architecture.
The way it works with the architects here is that they already have the modules sort of designed, and they all fit together sort of like a puzzle piece. So what I really want to do is take the half of this house and then take the open half of this house and sort of put them together halfway through, so I have
He sort of told us the pieces he liked of each and asked us if we could combine these, and we said absolutely.
RES4 made it happen. They combined their beach house and suburban prototypes and tweaked it to work with Paul's site and maximize views of the Catskill Mountains. The result is an inverted layout. Private spaces in the cozy downstairs module and public spaces in the expansive upstairs module, wrapped in glass to take in the mountain views. An add-on panelized section that holds the stairway and utilities will flank the front, and a butterfly roof tops it all off.
In the context of the other modular homes that we're currently doing, Paul's is one of the most complex structurally.
Back on the build site, Ken Kafton preps the concrete pilings Mod B will land on, and the home's structural complexity starts to reveal itself.
I was responsible for making sure that all the foundation portions are in the right spot today. Really hoping that everything's where it's supposed to be.
Mod B dangles just inches over the pilings, and Ken's hopes are dashed.
We're off 2 3/8 of an inch.
Aesthetics and accuracy hang in the balance, and so does Paul's big boy treehouse, when assembly required continues. Welcome back to Assembly Required. Paul Livernice's house dangles from a crane above snow, rock, and concrete pilings that are off by about 3 inches. The short March day dwindles. The crane charges by the hour, and the crew hustles to find a solution.
If we can just get on the other side of the bolts, that'll be good enough. So we got 1 inch to go.
Okay.
He's going to be okay there.
I think we have to go.
Because we can bring our plate out further.
Yeah.
Just get this big square plate.
Right now the inside bolt is in the way, so we can't bring it over.
Cut it off.
Cut it off or go over it.
Cut both of them off so we can get a full plate in there.
The house frame is reinforced with steel. This steel moment frame needs to sit on plates and bolt to the pilings. With a modular home, everything arrives precise, but sometimes on-site assembly doesn't follow the factory's lead. To make up for an almost 3-inch error, the team has a plan.
He's cutting off the bolts right now so we can slip the plate on top of the plate to make the weld connection to the moment frame in the house. Little things like this happen. They're to be expected.
Especially with this blend of modular and modern. Finding a willing construction partner at all for this relationship was a challenge. RES4 approached many modular home factories to see if they would be open to producing a unique modern design with customized materials. The answer was usually no.
We're asking them to do things just a little bit differently to make them more of a modern aesthetic, and Apex is willing to do that, where some of the other guys were really very resistant to it.
Apex Homes, a traditional modular factory, has built over 6,000 modular homes. Their streamlined, quality-controlled shop would make Henry Ford proud.
The architect flair to a plan is to do something that's not standard. We have to bend enough to give them the flexibility to be an architect-designed house, and they have to bend a little bit to allow us the standardization that we need to put these things down in production line atmosphere.
Once Paul gave the green light on his design, the guys from RES4 follow through at the factory, personally checking on each phase of construction.
I'm pretty impressed how fast they're working here. I could barely catch up with the amount of speed they construct everything. I turn around and they're done with one thing. I turn around and they're done with another thing.
This is the first box of the RES4 modular home. At this station here, we install the insulation, the OSB, the windows. The final electrical is done at this station. Sanding, a primer coat of paint, the window trim is installed, and the base molding. After it leaves this station here, it gets wrapped up and heads to the job site.
Looks good, huh?
Despite the setbacks, Paul is all smiles as Mod B finally settles in place.
The high point is seeing that house go down on your foundation and just being amazed. I mean, it was beyond my expectations seeing the house.
Adam and the crew rigged the roof module, but after this morning's mistakes, the pressure is on to make it fit. These guys aren't the only ones blending modern design and prefab. The beauty of Paul Livernice's house in the heart of the Catskill Mountains comes to life as a roof panel flies above the snowy mountain landscape. After about 2 years of design work and working out the kinks in the factory, Paul and the RES4 architects witnessed the Mountain Retreat modern modular home come together.
We were pretty much dead on almost, and you know, house is standing and it looks great.
Taking part in a pioneering project in the world of architecture and prefab make the journey worthwhile.
Oh, it's fantastic. I never saw anything like it. You know, I really wanted to see it. And it was my son's dream to have a house like this.
I always believe in modern technology and modern design, and I'm glad I was able to be a part of something new. And it hasn't been developed yet, and so it's on the cutting edge. So that's what I really enjoyed about the whole process of this.